Hi, I'm Steve DeLaney with the Bishop Keane Institute, and I'm here for our 4-minute introduction to George Weigel. This video is meant to give you an extremely brief introduction to our speaker and to maybe entice you to learn more about him and to come out to our talk. George Weigel is a distinguished senior fellow of Washington's Ethics and Public Policy Center, and he is one of the world's leading authorities on the Catholic Church. He's the author of 22 books, including the incredible 2-volume biography of Pope John Paul II and Evangelical Catholicism, Deep Reform for the 21st Century, which will be the topic he will be discussing here at Immaculate Conception on June 17th. In Evangelical Catholicism, George Weigel proposes a new way of viewing the Church, a new lens. He uses the term evangelical to inspire the idea that we're taking the gospel message of Jesus seriously. He thinks a lot of the energy we use in discussing and arguing about the Church actually comes from viewing the Church in an outdated model. We view Vatican II as this unique, isolated event that now conservatives and liberals can argue over. What he proposes is an image of deep reform that he traces back to Pope Leo XIII in the late 1800s, who begins the Catholic Church's new engagement with the modern world. One of the challenges that the Church faces is that many Americans in the last century grew up in the post-Reformation Church. Weigel tells of his own childhood growing up in Baltimore, where the faith was just passed on by osmosis. It was just in the air he breathed. Many contemporary Catholics today, liberal and conservative, want to argue over the rules of this old model of church. But Weigel thinks that this is no longer possible. The world has changed. He gives 4 reasons why it's more difficult to pass on the faith today than it was previously. First, we live in a pluralistic society, and you can't take for granted that people will be believers. We live in a society that is suspicious of authority. It is difficult for the Church's teachings to get a hearing. We live in a society that pursues pleasure as the number one most important principle. And we live in one that can be actively hostile to faith. In this new context, the old model of church breaks down, and a new engagement with faith and culture is needed. So how do we do this? Weigel offers some prescriptions. First, we need to take the idea of God and that God is revealing things to us seriously. God is seeking us in our lives and in history. Second, he thinks that friendship with Christ is the answer to the question that is every human life. And third, that the Church exists solely for the purpose of offering the possibility of this friendship to others. It is that friendship which can reveal to us both the truth about God and what it means to live a rich and loving human life. Weigel then offers 4 qualities of an engaged faith. First, radical conversion. That friendship with Christ is the defining fact of our lives. It influences everything, our personal identity, our relationships, our work, all activities. Second, a deep fidelity. We strengthen our faith constantly through prayer, through the sacraments. It's not something we can do an hour a week. That just won't do it. Third, joyful discipleship. That the primary characteristic of this relationship with Jesus is joy and not fear. And fourth, courageous evangelism, that we are not apologetic about our faith, but are willing to share Christ with all those we encounter. Weigel then goes on to list 10 features of evangelical Catholicism, what it looks like, and then spends the second part of the book offering 8 chapters on various reforms in the Church. These are very interesting proposals, and I encourage you to check them out. Weigel's book is a demanding proposal. He's asking us to take the Church seriously, to take seriously the possibility of revelation, the sacraments, and our own vocational lives. He asks us to think out what are the consequences of putting everything in service to our relationship with Christ. He asks us to question our own reluctance to share this wonderful gift of our faith. It's a demanding proposal and well worth the read, and I hope you come out to see George Weigel on June 17th here at Immaculate Conception. To learn more or to buy tickets, visit KeaneInstitute.org, or you can find us at the table in the Commons after Mass.